top stories, Prime Minister Abiy singles out building digital economy and scaling up cybersecurity as topmost priorities. And Ministry expresses confidence to conduct a successful school leaving certificate exam. Hello and thank you for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has made it loud and clear that Ethiopia is poised to harness the reaps of artificial intelligence for its socio-economic development. The Premier stated the remark here today while inaugurating the Art and Science Museum, the first of its kind in the heart of Addis Ababa. During the occasion, Abiy reiterated that Ethiopia is racing against time to wisely exploit artificial intelligence as it is a key factor for its aspired transformation. Demis Mekriau attended the event and compiled the following report.
This magnificent ring-shaped building at the center of Addis Ababa is a newly built science museum. The museum that was built within years has got a circular shape to symbolize a continuous development and human wisdom in the artificial intelligence sector. It is also a symbol of Ethiopia's dedication to the future of technology. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has officially inaugurated it accompanied by respective bodies. Following the ceremony, the Premier visited various technology startups which were on display at the museum. The Premier also addressed the first Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Conference that was hosted in the museum.
The Science Museum is an imposing piece of...
During the occasion, Prime Minister Abiy said Ethiopia has attached highest consideration to ensure a digital economy.
We have placed artificial intelligence at the forefront, as the key enabler of our country's digital transformation. Artificial intelligence is a prime example of one of the most disruptive innovations of our time. It is enabling us to solve critical challenges in vital sectors such as healthcare, education, agriculture, and governance.
Noting the role of science and innovation in digital transformation, the Premier underscored that the new museum will serve as a center of excellence for the artificial intelligence sector, both at national and continental level.
Built within a short time frame, the museum grounds offer both the young and old a place to inquire, explore, innovate, and invent. Such spaces are fundamental to our growth and development as a learning society, country, and continent. It is my hope this museum will be a springboard for the emergence of various innovations.
Ethiopia hosts the first Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Conference that brings around 2,000 participants from different parts of the world. This conference is expected to enhance Ethiopia's portfolio on artificial intelligence at a continental level, on top of creating links between and among artificial intelligence operators throughout the world. Reporting to ETV, Demis Mekriau, Science Museum, Addis Ababa.
Meanwhile, the first Pan-African Intelligence Forum is being held at the Art and Science Museum, which was inaugurated today in Addis Ababa. Participants underlined that the process of building digital economy is a tough task, adding the nation needs to focus on cybersecurity in addition to expanding technologies. Country representatives, international institutions, and researchers on artificial intelligence are taking part in the Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Forum. Shagao Yamatao has more on this.
The first Pan-African Intelligence Forum is held at the Science Museum in Addis Ababa. The role of artificial intelligence for nations' overall development is deeply dealt in the discussion. Ethiopia is carrying out various tasks on artificial intelligence.
We built a state-of-the-art data center, and we are training several AI models diagnosis of disease. In agriculture, we are developing AI-based crop disease detection. We are applying facial recognition system for our system, city institutes. We are applying, we are also in fence. We are building AI-based microloan system in chatbot, especially in finance sectors. We are also developing several systems in transport, education, and the public service sectors under the our natural language processing initiative. We are developing 4 local languages.
Country representatives, international institutions, and researchers on artificial intelligence are taking part in the first Pan-African Artificial Intelligence Forum. Mohammed Al-Kwaiti, the head of cybersecurity of the United Arab Emirates, shared his country's experience on the challenges and progresses of artificial intelligence for the participants.
How to change this country and how to make it really advancing and being a leading in many of those things. That tent, after about 10, 15 years, changed to buildings. And we created something called e-government, the electronic government, trying to connect these buildings. We have Ministry of Oil and Gas, we have Ministry of Energy, we have Ministry of Education, we have Ministry of Healthcare. So all of them start connecting their buildings together. The leaders, they saw that connection, they still see that we need to do more. So they changed this e-government to something called smart government. And that smart government allows us to leverage AI, to leverage some of the applications we use in our devices.
Researchers are expected to present their studies on artificial intelligence for the coming 2 days.
Tigrayans residing in Addis Ababa held demonstrations today in front of the US and UK embassies in the capital and have urged the international community to put pressure on the terrorist TPLF to accept peaceful settlement of the problem. They have also called on the international community to condemn TPLF for its destructive actions that have been exacerbating the suffering of the people in the region. The demonstrators have denounced some members of the international community that are attempting to equate the government with terrorist group. The residents protested against TPLF's continued conscription of children and the youth for its war efforts, denouncing the third round of war by the group, rejecting the call made by the government for peace. Tigrayans residing in Addis Ababa have urged the international community to condemn the use of children for war purposes by the terrorist TPLF in their demonstration. The group has been using the humanitarian aid that entered Tigray for its war efforts. The terrorist TPLF has also continued holding hostage the people of Tigray due to its belligerent and barbaric acts. The demonstration was colorful with a variety of crucial messages reflected on it. Take a look. The Ministry of Education expressed confidence that the nation is in a much better position to conduct the National School Leaving Certificate exam free from any contamination. Talking to ETV, the Minister, Berhanu Nagga, indicated that his ministry has taken the lion's share to spearhead the move for fair and successful elections in the country. Efforts to grant autonomous status to universities, he said, would help curb challenges related to entrance exams administered by higher education institutions. Daniel Kasahun spoke to the minister and compiled the following report. Take a look.
The Ethiopian Ministry of Education is responsible for conducting national exams. It takes the lion's share. Here with me is Professor Berhanu Nagga. He is Ethiopian Minister of Education. What's new?
What we have done this year is we totally separated as much as possible to avoid any contamination in this process of providing the exam. So we are taking the kids to federal institutions, universities in their regions, and make them take the exams in those institutions where they would be housed, fed for the whole duration of the exam time. They are not allowed to carry any instrument that would have the possibility of transmitting what the exams are to others. That is a fundamentally new way of providing these exams. This is the first time that is happening in this country, where because of that we are moving some close to 970,000 students. Therefore, the logistics is humongous. We are doing it for the first time. So this is going to be a test of the country's capacity to deliver such huge logistical fit.
I want you to tell me more about the controlling mechanism in order to avoid cheating and stealing of exam papers.
So first, starting from the way we prepare the exams, we have tried to sanitize it as much as possible so that there will not be any mechanism through which the exam those people who prepare the exams are not known. They don't have any connection with the internet during the preparation of the exam. It is in a secluded place where they prepare these exams. So we try to sanitize that area, the very preparation. Then once it is prepared, the printing of the exams equally involves high-level security, both digital security as well as physical security, conducted by the Federal Police and INSA and other security institutions.
Brief me about your confidence. How successful will it going to be?
You know, when you do a new thing, the new thing can come also with its own problem. We'll see. That we will see, in the next, after we finish the exam and after we see after we evaluate what has actually happened. But for now, we are reasonably confident that we have made the process much more, significantly more fair and equitable to all the students than ever before in the past, to create an environment where students can only rely on their own capacities and their own hard work than anything else. But this is not to say that it would be 100% proof. We'll see. But I am reasonably confident.
Great intervention. Hopefully next week's exam will be successful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
In this auspicious Ethiopian New Year, ETV English will bring you new programs that will inform and update you on major national and continental issues that matter. Sit tight and remain alert as we are bringing you new programs entitled Diplomatic Insights and Explore Ethiopia. Stay tuned for more from ETV English, your new voice of diversity and renaissance.
Welcome back. Some foreign aid organizations and the media have been playing destructive roles in the escalation and prolongation of the conflict in the northern part of the country, scholars claimed. A panel discussion on international actors and civil conflicts in Africa, the case of Ethiopia's conflict in the northern part, was held today. Papers were presented on humanitarian aid, intervention of humanitarian aid organizations, and the media in the conflict. Among the studies presented, one focuses on the influence of aid agencies in the name of supporting the needy. Take a look at this.
There are people who are displaced and starved, and they need urgent need, of course. But the question is that if the aid will address to the target people, as to me, despite the aid is given to people, the interest of aid agencies is to establish their own government, implement their own political and economic motives. All their aid is related to their interests, so we need to be aware of this problem.
There are quite a lot of humanitarian aid organizations that are operating in the northern part of the country, the study said, adding that there is a huge flow of resources, but it is subject to investigation whether the resources are properly used or not.
Their media is the main tool to accomplish their interest. Their media does not fulfill the right principle that the media should have. Their news is below the standard.
As reported in August, Tigray has had limited telecom and internet access for some people in the state, at least as far back as early May. Many sources have since confirmed they've received regular emails, WhatsApp, and Twitter messages from contacts in Tigray for a period of at least the past 10 months. Now comes evidence from the UN itself that it has been working on providing telecom access for the Tigray state for more than a year. And it's deliberately hiding its efforts, as are the well-known writer Jeff Pierce and his partner. Kasahun Chani takes it from here.
The Emergency Telecommunications Cluster under the umbrella of the UN World Food Programme confirms that it was activated more than a year ago to coordinate and provide critical IT and telecommunications services, ostensibly to support the humanitarian response to the crisis. The fact sheet can be traced to the Emergency Telecommunications Cluster's website, etcluster.org, but is hidden from general viewers, and one will search in vain for any visible fact sheets on Tigray in its operational updates, despite a plethora of available infographics and situational reports on Nigeria, Syria, Libya, and other locales. But according to its own document, the Emergency Telecommunications Cluster claims it went operational on May 28, 2021, though sources show the region had limited internet access weeks before this. Another key concern is the fact that the ETC says it has operational and security operations centers in Mekelle and Shire, with planned telecom services for Aksum, Adigrat, Abiyadi, and Maidom. A security operations center means various scenarios for mobile phone networks, including satellite phone and VHF, UHF networks. This is despite relentless and forced statements from the Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom, and his TPLF allies in international media and within the international system, including the EU's Joseph Borrell and analysts like crisis groups, will Davison, the Tigray remains under siege. The cluster also has planned ETC services for Danshan, which is not even in Tigray, but in Wolgait, a region that belonged to Amhara, but was forcefully annexed by the TPLF in 1991 and is now under federal protection. The map provided in its document therefore accepts the TPLF's Western Tigray narrative and implies that it would support and work with the insurgency to undermine the territorial integrity of the Ethiopian state. Given the fact sheet was produced and distributed in June of 2021 and no updates are easily available, it's difficult to tell how far along the ETC has progressed in providing these services. But critics and the Ethiopian government would be within their rights to ask hard questions, especially in light of the pressure the government has become under of repair the very telecom and power infrastructure the TPLF has continuously taken down. The US, EU and the UN itself repeatedly condemned Ethiopian public for the denial of telecom services when a UN cluster has access to the region and is clearly at work on restoring those services, hiding the progress of telecommunication operations from the general public on its website. They said the implication here seems to be that the UN can decide for itself if a sovereign state is up to the challenge and can move to insert itself. In the case of Ethiopia, this was impossible as the United Nations needed the authorities' cooperation to a large extent to gain access, but the wording is disturbing. Even more cause for potential concern is that within 48 hours of a disaster, the ETC provides vital security communication services and voice and internet connectivity to assist the response community in their life-saving operations.
Germany vowed to scale up investment ties with Ethiopia. Talking to ETV English, German ambassador to Ethiopia said Germany views Ethiopia as one of its priority partners in economic cooperation and development. Traditionally, Germany is the largest importer of Ethiopian coffee. Furthermore, a wide range of German and governmental organizations are active in Ethiopia. Habtamu Ashagwe sat down with the ambassador and compiled the following report.
Ethio-German relations to go back to March 1905 and 1907. The German embassy moved into its premises on a site provided by Emperor Menelik II, where it is still located today. One of the fourth biggest economies in Europe, Germany said it remains committed to boost ties with Ethiopian investment and job creation endeavors.
Our bilateral relations have been expanding, intensifying and widening, and this is of course very encouraging, and this is for instance also exemplified by the fact that His Excellency the Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed visited Germany in 2018, and the next year the return visit of the President of the Federal Republic of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, took place to Ethiopia. We have also a binational commission which is, strategically reviewing all sectors of our bilateral relations, for instance, economic affairs, where we can we improve our economic relations. It's also looking into peace and security, to development cooperation, cultural exchanges. So we have a lot of things where we are, engaging together, where we try to promote our relations, but also at the same time.
Germany is also providing financial assistance to combat food crisis and acute humanitarian emergencies. Our underlined efforts are needed to scale up the investment projects like the economic strength of Europe.
We have a lot of investments in this country in various sectors, in the agricultural sector, in the health sector, in logistics or in manufacturing, in agriculture as well. So we are invested in many sectors. We are the fourth biggest, Germany has the fourth biggest economy in the world and the biggest in Europe. Unfortunately, our bilateral trade between Germany and Ethiopia and our German investments in Ethiopia doesn't reflect this. And me as a German ambassador, I would like to attract much more investments to Ethiopia. Now, these investments, you have to get to know that the German economy is structured in a way that we have a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises.
Germany lauds Ethiopia's effort to create a favorable investment climate for small and medium enterprises, according to the ambassador. Sustainable peace and stability is also vital to do business in Ethiopia, the ambassador said, adding, Ethiopia's current track in that endeavor is satisfactory.
These small and medium-sized enterprises, they come and invest to stay. They do not want to reap a quick benefit and then go again. They come and stay and invest. And they create jobs, they transfer technology, they do a lot of good business and look into decent jobs creation. Now, these small and medium-sized enterprises, of course, they have not, they are, how should I say, risk averse. They are somehow concerned to lose their investment. So for them, it's very important to have a safe business environment and also stability. And this is why it's so important to have peace and stability in Ethiopia so that these businesses can come and invest here. So apart from peace and stability, which we are promoting through promoting the political process, we are also very much interested in creating the business environment which creates the legal protection for German investments in this country.
Germany is one of the biggest buyers of Ethiopian goods, primarily coffee and textiles. The main German exporters to Ethiopia finished products such as machinery, engines, motor vehicles, chemicals and medicines.
As you can imagine,
Welcome back. The medical research organization Drugs for Neglected Diseases Initiative, DNDi, said a shorter and less toxic treatment for people with visceral leishmaniasis was shown to be effective in Eastern Africa. The new treatment consists of a combination of two drugs, miltefosine MF, the only oral drug available for leishmaniasis treatment, and paromomycin PM, an injectable antibiotic. Deputy Chancellor at the University of Khartoum, Ahmed Musa, said the new treatment is great news for the thousands of patients affected by visceral leishmaniasis in the region. According to the Deputy Chancellor, the treatment will eliminate one painful and toxic injection from the treatment and is therefore safer to those affected. Leishmaniasis is the deadliest parasitic killer after malaria. Its most severe form, visceral leishmaniasis, is fatal if left untreated. There are 50,000 to 90,000 new cases of the disease annually, with the highest number of cases worldwide reported in Eastern African countries, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, and Uganda. The disease affects people in resource-limited settings, arid and semi-arid areas. Half of them are children under 15. Leishmaniasis is also a climate-sensitive disease, and its impact could get worse. Therefore, if not addressed, the most vulnerable will continue to suffer. And finally, Islamic extremist Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack against government headquarters in Beledweyne. Earlier on Monday, Somalia's government announced the death of a top Al-Shabaab leader, Abdullahi Nadir, over the weekend. Haptam Washagri has more from Africa News.
An attack by Islamic extremists fighting Somali government headquarters on Monday has left 20 dead and 36 wounded. The Somalia-based Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack in Beledweyne, a town more than 300 kilometers north of Somalia's capital Mogadishu.
Heavy and disastrous explosions in Beledweyne district have killed people, including government officials, civilians and soldiers. We will not cry and shout out, and this will not frighten us even if they kill hundreds or millions. We still believe that we are fighting because it is jihad for the sake of Allah. These terrorists might make us scared, but we will fight you to the death.
Earlier on Monday, Somalia's government announced the death of a top Al-Shabaab leader, Abdullahi Nadir, over the weekend. The government said the attack had been carried out in partnership with the US military in southwest Somalia. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemning the attack and reaffirmed the UN's commitment to peace in the country.
You're watching Addis News Hour. Here's a reminder of the stories making headlines. Prime Minister Abiy singles out building digital economy and scaling up cybersecurity as topmost priorities. And Ministry expresses confidence to conduct a successful school leaving certificate exam. And that's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Many thanks for watching. Have a good night and take care.